Hello, my fellow readers. It's time once again to pick out my TBR, this time for July, which I don't even know. I don't think I have words for how I feel about already going into July and needing to pick books for July. I thankfully managed to get done with my TBR for June, but I literally did not feel like reading for the longest time. I really enjoy reading my light novels, but I don't know. I'd get home from work and I didn't want to do it. I did finish both of them, plus my library book, but I just didn't want to. I have no problem in the morning. I listen to my audiobook, and a lot of times I'll read from my ARC digital readers, but for some reason, like after I got home, I just did not want to read. I mean, it's understandable. Sometimes you just get exhausted. And I think I mentioned before about even with like filming, I didn't want to do a lot of it. I'm just tired. And it happens. I would want to crochet. I like being active, like with my hands, but I just didn't want to, I don't know, do too much else. So it is what it is. Anyway, I did finish some of the books. So before I choose what I'm going to read for July, I will go over what I picked for June and finished. And the first one was The Unlikely Escape of Uriah Heep. This is the book from the library that I wanted to buy but decided to loan from the library. And I'm glad I did, because even though I loved H.G. Perry's The Magician's Daughter, I was more like just okay with The Unlikely Escape of Uriah Heep. I was hoping it would be much better than it was, not that it was bad. I will quickly, I guess, I'll tell you what the story was about. I'll read the synopsis in here and I'll fill you in. So for his entire life, Charlie Sutherland has concealed an unusual ability he can't quite control. He can bring characters from books into the real world. His older brother Rob, a young lawyer with a normal house, a normal fiancé, and an utterly normal life, hopes that this strange family secret will disappear with disuse, and he will be discharged from his life's duty of protecting Charlie and the real world from each other. But then literary characters start causing trouble in their city, making threats about destroying the world, and for once, it isn't Charlie's doing. There's someone else who shares his power. It's up to Charlie and a reluctant Rob to stop them, and hopefully before anyone gets to the end. Dun dun dun. So yeah, it basically follows Rob, who is like just this normal guy and wants a normal life, as he's always kind of going and bailing out Charlie, or just helping Charlie, saving Charlie from whatever's happening. And a lot of times it's incidents where Charlie brings forth a fictional character that he didn't intend to bring forth, and then suddenly they're in the real world, and Rob has to find a way to get Charlie to calm down and send the person back. But then they uncover this whole other, I guess, side world that is happening alongside of their own, where people or someone has been bringing literary characters to life, and then also the just existence of these literary characters, and whether it's better to force them to go back in, or is that actually taking a life that now exists. And it's kind of fascinating, and I liked it enough, but I'm glad that I didn't buy it, because I probably would have just donated it somewhere. So good call borrowing it, although I still super, super love The Magician's Daughter, and that is still one of my top books for 2024. But this one I'm glad I borrowed. It was good, and I would recommend it, especially if you like literary fiction. If you like, that's not the right word. If you like fiction that's based on books and book characters, and you like being in, you'll like it. It's good. It's a good fantasy about that. And I also liked the family relationship with Rob and Charlie. I like stories like that, so there was a lot to like. I'm just glad I didn't buy it, because I feel like I wouldn't have, wanted it sitting stuck on my shelf, because I do not have a huge, that's hard. I do have a big collection of books, just I feel like I have a controlled collection, and I don't like to overbuild from that. And also periodically I go through and I get rid of other books, and I really only keep the ones that I truly would like to keep or would like to recommend to others, like loan out. So that's it for that. The other part was my light novels. So it was read a book you're most excited to read, and read a book with your favorite color? No, read a book with your favorite cover. Was this my favorite cover? I don't remember. Anyway, the two that I ended up picking were A Tale of the Secret Saint Volume 2 and You Can Have My Back Volume 2. And I'll probably end up talking about both of these, especially since it's been so long since I read A Tale of the Secret Saint. The good news is they do a pretty good summary in the beginning of this one that refreshes what happened in that first volume. And there's also a little character guide, and I love that because sometimes, especially with these, if there's a long time, not only just in between when you can read the 2 volumes, but also between publishing, it really helps to have just a quick guide and a quick refresher. And this one did. This, very quickly, is just we're following Fia more in her training to be a knight, but this volume specifically deals with her and her familiar, who is technically the Black Dragon King, but nobody realizes it until we really get to this volume. I'm trying to remember if she told anybody, and I'm trying to remember, it's Zavilia. Always worried I'm gonna like not have that right, but her dragon familiar is Zavilia, and so it goes over also like his past as well, and how he got to be the Black Dragon King, and then choose Fia. And it's good. I really liked this volume. I think the only trouble I have with The Secret Saint in general is that the end is often just these filler stories, and it's not that they're bad, because what happens with like the little filler sides is it takes one of the other characters and kind of goes over a scene or situation from their viewpoint, whereas the majority of the actual novel volume were with Fia and following her. Occasionally there'll be a different character. But then just the last couple of like chapters, I guess you would call them chapters, are really just mini side stories that deal with like other characters and their relations to Fia and like what's happening. And it's fine. It just gets a little like, okay, that was a lot of pages that have nothing to do with the main story, other than character building, like kind of showing how they're feeling about Fia and where that direction would be. But the main plot of this one dealt with Zophilia, and it was good, and I'll probably talk about it in a future review. The other one that I chose was You Can Have My Back, Volume 2. I had finished You Can Have My Back, Volume 1, not that long ago, and I wanted to move on to Volume 2 to see more of where the story develops. Volume 2, I would just say, has a lot more mature content, so that was a surprise, but also is more of a character development, I guess, volume of this. It's really getting the establishments of the characters and the relationships. I don't even think I have to... I don't know, I guess I'll read quickly the back, even though I don't think it's necessary, because, like I just said, it's literally just about the character progression. But painful truths and guilty pleasures, not wanting to live his life as a burden to anyone, Leorino resolves to find work and unwittingly enters the patronage of Prince Gravis. But once again, Leorino's angelic beauty proves to be more of a curse than a blessing, as it draws the ire of his colleagues. As emotions reach a fever pitch, an explosive act of malice sends him tumbling down a flight of stairs. When Gravis receives word of the incident, he flies to Leorino's side and vows that anyone who would harm him will receive no mercy. So, yeah, it really, this one totally centers, that mostly totally centers on Gravis and Leorino's relationship, and going over that whole tie-in to the past with Yo, and how that impacts their relationship. And that's about it, and I'll probably discuss these two at a later time, but quick and done. Let's quickly see what kind of library book I will have to pick up for July. And then we'll move on to light novels, which I can actually show. Now, it could be that I'll draw one of these cards, and it will be a title that I know I'm going to borrow, and then I'll tell you I'm going to read that one. But for now, let's see. So my draw card, I'm just going to go right from the top, is draw from the top. So I'll set that over here. And I'm just going to draw the first card. I have been leaving aside these cards so that I'm not choosing the same category. And I think that's made it easier. I don't have to shuffle because they're already shuffled, and I just go with whatever it tells me. I hate this one. I hate it, but I'll do it. I just have to find one. I think I actually might... Do I have one? I don't think I have one right now, so I will have to look for it, and I hope I don't fail at this. But if I do, I do. This is Read a Book that is more than 400 pages, and that just crushes me a little bit, but I will try to find one that I really want to read currently that is more than 400 pages. I don't think I have one off the top of my head, but I will look. There's probably like a fantasy book that I really want to borrow or something. Here's hoping. So I'll leave that to the side so that I can pick one out later. Yeah, there's nothing like that pops up in my mind right away that's like, oh yeah, I want to read that one. I could maybe see Leigh Bardugo's The Familiar. I haven't read that one yet. If that one's over 400 pages, I might. But I don't know that it was. So I'll see. I don't know yet, though. And now, on to the light novels. For the very first draw card, pick the third card. Okay, that is easy enough. 1, 2, 3. I'll move the other two to the bottom, and the third card was read a book you most recently hauled. Oh, that's easy. I literally just got a light novel in the other day that is new, and I thought it looked pretty good. It is called Babel, A Girl Embarks on a Journey of Words. There's another one that I would have chosen, but I think I'm going to go with this one because when I saw it, I thought it looked pretty good. The description is swords, sorcery, and dictionaries. College student Shizuku Minase has never been anything but ordinary. For all her 18 years, she has been overshadowed by her sister's confidence and charm. However, her life changes forever when she's abruptly spirited away to a world of magic and terrible danger. There she meets Eric, a handsome young man who studies this land's magic script. He offers to help her find a way back to Earth, but in exchange, he wants her to teach him Japanese. With their bargain struck, the pair sets out for Pharsis, the kingdom of magic, beginning an adventure of fantasy and language. So I just thought that sounded interesting. I liked the bringing language and fantasy together. It's always been kind of a favorite of mine. So book 1 for light novels will be Babel. It does look a little bit long, so I hope I know what I'm getting into. It is 376 pages, so wish me luck. And let's hope the next one is a little bit shorter, because now I'm in for a 400 plus page library book and a 350 plus page light novel. Okay, I will leave this to the side as well. And then the next draw card says draw from the top. I guess that's easy enough. And that is read a book by a favorite author. Do I have one that I would consider a favorite author? I feel like, I like the series, so would that count? I am going to try one that I haven't gone back to in a little while, and I would like to see where it's going. So I guess this is close enough to being a favorite author because I've read 4 of the other volumes so far. And so my choice is going to be Cross-Dressing Villainess Cecilia Silvey, Volume 5. It has been a while since I read Volume 4. I think I remember enough of the plot to be able to go on. I think if I didn't choose this one, I may have gone with Seventh Time Loop again, and I'll just read that on my own. So there you have it. I'm going to find a 400 plus page book. I'm going to read, wait a minute, let's see what happens in this. I'm going to read quickly what happens in this one because, let's see, just when she thought it was over, and now that Cecilia Silvey has cleared the last major events of the dating sim she was reborn into, the end of her trials and tribulations is in sight. The last 3 months of the game's narrative seem to be going off without a hitch until her alter ego, Cecil, or Cecil, I don't know, receives an invitation to meet Prince Janice's brother, Roland. Locked into an event that never transpired in the original game, Cecilia embarks on a dangerous journey with Oscar to the kingdom of Nortreca in search of leads on Janice's whereabouts. Meanwhile, Gilbert uses Valentine's Day as a pretext to get some answers about where he and Cecilia stand. Just who will be at this villainess's side if she can make it to the finish line. Now, I thought in Volume 4 it was pretty clear that she and Oscar were kind of endgame, because I thought there was the whole conversation with Gilbert about him being, like, that she loved him. she loves him a lot, but that it is more just as a person. But who knows? Maybe they're gonna turn things around and there's gonna be a whole new element to this. I don't know. I do love both of the characters. I like Oscar and I like Gilbert, so I'm up for whatever. But that's interesting. So we'll see what happens. So now, there you have it. I'm going to find a 400+ page book from the library, and I'm going to be reading the light novels Cross-Dressing Villainess Cecilia Sylvie, Volume 5, and Babel, Volume 1. And I hope these are both a good read. And yeah, I hope I can read them quicker than what happened for June, because I was not super feeling it. Yeah. And of course, you know, if I don't get to, I don't get to. It is what it is. This is just books. So there we have it. I'm gonna read these. That is it for this video. Until next time, bye.